Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Suffolk Business Podcast. Today we are joined by the Gin Lord, Rory Faiers. Thanks so much for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks as well, for those of you who are listening, you might not see what is on our table, but he has brought some amazing gin for us today, which I'm thrilled about. No, this is water in front of me. It is. What's the time?
Top up?
It's 5 to 10 in the morning, so this is just water. So I want to establish that.
Jake needs to wait another half an hour before he starts getting right on it.
But yeah, I'm really excited. Well, I held that up like gin. It's not actually. It's tonic water. This is the gin. Jazz got the gin.
Yeah, so I'll have both because I've got the main component.
Yeah, but yeah. So instead of obviously chatting about gin between ourselves, we have an expert here with us today who can actually differentiate tonic water from gin, I imagine. So
that's the start.
Yeah. So yeah, give us a bit of a brief. Well, again, I always say brief. I don't mean brief. Like we have got a podcast where we can chat about things for a long period of time. That is the nature of it. So tell us a bit about your origin story. Why gin?
So it's something I've always drunk. Well, it's not always. From birth.
Even when you were little.
Maybe a little bit before legal drinking age. But yeah, it's always something. Gin and tonic was always my drink.
Really?
And I guess you get the people take the mick a little bit. But it just was always something that I liked.
Yeah.
So even, I've always had in mind that even from a young age, that I wanted to have my own business. So I could quite quickly identify that gin was going to become popular. There was a kind of a point in sort of 2012, 13, I started to think actually. So I wanted to make my own gin, but I knew nothing about how to make it. So I thought, well, let's start drinking and find out what it's about.
That's like the best way of finding out, isn't it?
So, and as I was doing that, I sort of posted pictures on my Instagram page, tagged the companies, and then I'd find that the companies would engage with me, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I set up the separate page in about 2014, which was the Gin Lord, and just to make it look a bit like I knew what I was doing a bit more. And just found, and it wasn't long before I just found companies were then going, oh, can we send you this? Can you review it, see what you think, and that, and get my opinion. And it just kind of went off from there, really. I was there was only a few of us doing the kind of gin or Instagram thing. Now, there's thousands of people, so it's quite crowded now.
Quite saturated.
Kind of.
You got in there first.
Yeah,
that's the same with any industry, isn't it? But you stamp your mark on there first.
Yeah,
cool.
It's sort of a group of us, and actually the beauty of what over the years you get to meet the faces behind the logo or the Twitter handle or something. And actually, they're really good friends now, and it's such a nice community. And everyone's really open and sharing. So actually, with the companies, I started going to doing distillery visits and speaking to the makers, speaking to the people that are making the gin, the brand owners, the business owners, and they're all just been so helpful. And I just kind of we're getting little nuggets of knowledge from all around the country. We found ourselves in Australia nearly 3 years ago, and speaking to those guys is just on another level. So that end game of making a gin, I kind of then fell into this brand of the Gin Lord because I wanted to build the brand first. So I kind of just didn't release a gin, and people were like, who the hell's this guy? But that's become the business, if that makes sense, as opposed to the product, which
is almost like an upsell from people knowing about you.
It is, and actually, as it's become really saturated and stuff, and I could have quite easily got a gin out there about 3 or 4 years ago, but I wanted it to be right, and I kind of, when I started the journey of making my own business, I wanted to kind of core values just in that was always transparency and honesty. So I don't buy followers, I don't do all that kind of stuff that you do see a lot on Instagram.
Too much.
It's just crazy. And also the honesty and transparency bit was to make the gin. So the idea is that I've kind of done a soft launch on the Faiers distillery stuff last year, and I'm making a few gins for some local businesses. But what I want to do, and what the website's built and things, is that the bottle that you have, you'll put the batch number in, and it will tell you exactly the recipe. So it tells you exactly what's in there. There's a few gins that tell you percentage wise what's in. I just kind of think if someone's going to copy me, then I'll take that as a good thing. And I want to differentiate myself from a very crowded marketplace, and it isn't just gin, it will be all kind of different spirits and things. So but I want to keep it small, and I want to keep it honest and transparent. That was kind of the things that I came up with when I went out for the Gin Lord brand.
Really cool. The one question that I have is, obviously, you've started a business similar to where Jack and I have, where you've kind of, your passion came first.
Yeah.
So Jack and I have always loved creating content, helping business owners with their marketing, all that kind of thing. And then we almost attached a business and added a product to that. Yeah. For you, obviously, from going from really loving drinking gin and tonic to then actually trying to monetize gin and tonic, was that an easy transition, or did you find that actually adding the business element to it took away your love somewhat, or did it enhance it?
To monetize it was either to make a gin and sell it really quickly, which I didn't want to do. But I started doing tasting evenings, so I've done sort of 4 or 5 here actually at Hindlesham Golf Club. I've done them all round Suffolk, a couple in Norfolk and things like that. And that's the kind of the monetizing bit, but it never feels like work. No, I'm just standing up.
But then that's what I mean, is that sometimes, sometimes when you have that initial passion, sometimes it kind of dilutes when you add the business side to it. And I've seen it with quite a few friends where they've had a passion where they wanted to actually, I'm going to make a business out of it, because it's the natural thing, isn't it? It's like, I want to make a business doing what I love, but then there isn't really much of a conversation about is that sometimes when you do that, it takes away your love for that thing.
I think one thing that you can kind of miss that is if you go to build brand instead of build business. And it sounds like from the very start you said, right, I'm going to build brand here. You branded it Gin Lord, which is really cool. I love the whole branding behind it, great font. And that kind of keeps your passion in. I want to build brand because I'm passionate about it and because I love it. Whereas as soon as you go to I want to build business, it almost business straight away, like the monetary value of it, and it gets quite clicky in your mind, and then you can lose passion for it. So the fact that you built brand before business, I think, has a huge impact on why you still love it.
Yeah, definitely. And it became something I didn't think it would be. I didn't think I would do talks and tastings and stand up in front of a group of people. And
that's exciting, though, isn't it? How it can just like that. Grow like that,
and doing like now consultation for other brands and bars and their drinks menus and stuff. I was like, I never thought I would do that. It just came as part of that brand.
That's awesome. Obviously you built a lot of your kind of initial following on Instagram. Instagram's a big platform for you. How did you navigate through that? Did you have a strategy in mind to begin with, or was it just like posting out as much content as possible?
No, I didn't want to be, so I kind of limited it to, I didn't want to be posting every day. I found if I left a day gap, you tend to get a bit more engagement. My followers grew really quickly, sort of a couple of years ago, just really spiked. And then I became very conscious that I don't want people thinking I bought these. I think if I bought them, I probably would have had more than what I've got now. But because I set out, it's not what I wanted to do. And there was a couple of brands that did that, and they went from like 2,000 to 25,000 overnight.
People can always tell with your engagement.
You can see through it,
exactly. So what I wanted to do was engage. So if someone commented, reply, like, and actually, not just go through and batch like 1,000 pictures, but actually properly engage with it and show an interest. And that's where you get, I'd like to think my followers now, while they aren't growing as quick, they're much better followers, if that makes sense, as opposed to just, they might give you a like or so. I'd rather have the engagement.
And what's nice and refreshing to hear is that, like you said, there are so many brands out there that are transfixed on growing their follower account, and when they're so kind of channel focused like that, everything else falls down. Whereas if you kind of flip that switch and you focus on content delivering value on a regular basis, then your followers will organically grow. And like you said, even if you do get to 100 but you've got 90 really like super fans that engage and they comment and they fire the flag for your business, it's much better than having 100,000 and no one doing that.
So definitely don't get me wrong, there was a point, because it was exciting.
That you wanted to kind of see that.
Okay, and you keep pushing it.
I think that's human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
To quite enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. But you kind of, I think the turning point was when you start to get people that you know and respect then follow you.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, okay, I'd rather that than 1,000.
It's about who's liking your stuff as opposed to how many people are liking your stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And that is, and I cannot resist telling the story because it's just like the best moment. And it reminded me of the other one of a couple of your podcasts where they talk about like people that have engaged and things. Yeah. Was ridiculous. I'm just saying this on a podcast. So it was about 18 months ago, and the first thing you do is look, and went on Instagram, and I'd had like 200 followers just that overnight. I was like, what the hell has gone on? That is crazy. So you like scroll them through, and you know where someone follows you that you're already following, and it's like a white, or so it looks different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I was like, that can't be right. So I was like, woke my wife up. I was like, look, look at this. And she's like, what? She's like, oh, okay. I was like, do you not realise this? It's Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Yeah, so it was that for me. That was like, there's got to be a mistake. He's obviously, because he has his own gin company, and his marketing and everything he's doing around that is really like good, unbelievable. Like how it was an existing business that he bought, and how he's grown that using. Okay, his profile is massive, helps, but actually the way in which he gets involved in it's really cool. Yeah. So he started following us. It got to be a mistake. He's obviously come across it, accidentally clicked follow. He probably doesn't still follow me. Still does now. So
really?
That's
so
cool. That was like.
But that's what I mean. That's an example of like you're putting content out on your Instagram, and it's not about how many people. It's about his eyeballs might be looking. Yeah,
and he every now and again he will like a picture and stuff, and you kind of go, that's pretty cool. And then everyone's like, you got to DM him. I'm like, I'm not. There's no way I'm doing that. Yeah. Did. Yeah. But and we've exchanged a couple of messages and stuff. That's cool. And I think that was the moment for me. I was like, do you know what? Now I don't care. I was like, notice in at work, not to that extreme, but in the day job. But it was. Well,
it's nice to have those like small, those wins that in your head it reinstates what you do and it validates what you do. The amount of times that we get people follow us and I'm the same as you. I'm like, no, I'm not going to DM them. Jack's like, no, it's fine. We'll DM them. It's fine. We'll just introduce us. I think everyone thinks if you DM somebody, you're obviously selling something, but you can just DM somebody and say, look, loving what you do.
Mate. Definitely.
Really
and absolutely. And it is. And it mad, and it sounds ridiculous saying it then the other way, where you do follow someone and someone said that to you. Yeah. And you're like, oh God, that's really weird. Yeah. Because I don't feel any different or anything like that. But it is just having that respect of your peers and things that just speaks so much more than just your follow account.
I think if you kind of translate it into, I always try and think of activity on social media is similar to activity in real life. So if you're in a big room full of all of your followers, and Ryan Reynolds did Jonathan Ross then. Ryan Reynolds was in that room talking to somebody, you'd approach them and you'd introduce yourself, and it's the same as on Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So that was my social media win. And there's a few others and things, and that kind of other
few other Marvel characters just popping up.
Just a few blue ticks.
What's something else then?
What do you think you were talking about? Birds?
Didn't know they were on Instagram now. Avatar characters, not just Deadpool.
Sorry about that. But yes,
well done, Jake.
That was good. Yeah. That was good.
Thanks. So obviously, you've grown your Instagram profile. You've been able to kind of fly the flag for gin. What would you say is like your core service now? Is it just, or is your kind of almost like your focus as well? Is it growing your following still and putting out content, or is it more focused on actually some of those monetary aspects that we mentioned?
Not so much the monetary stuff. I think I still have a day job as well, which I really enjoy, and that's kind of comes first always because it pays the bills properly. But so this has always been a sideline. I make the gin in my shed in my garden. That's so it's not like I've got like a massive distillery set up or anything like that. It's literally in my shed. Yeah. But I just want to build the brand, continue meeting people that are in the industry. Gin, the market's really shifted in the last year towards like flavoured gin and pink gin.
Yeah, and even non-alcoholic gin and
stuff like that. And it's, if I'd have been sat here 12 months ago, I'd be like, oh, I hate all that stuff. I don't want to. I can't ignore it because it is a part of that industry now. So I kind of have to embrace that on some level, but I also have to think the way that it's going, do I want to be doing gin forever? Probably not, because you naturally, with any business, when you have a specialised area, you kind of naturally fall into other things, so like beer and wine and rum and whiskey. And actually, it's not just about gin for me now, it's about the whole of the drinks industry, not even just alcohol. Now, I nearly fully did dry January for the first time ever this year, was for two reasons.
Nearly fully did.
Yeah, nearly fully did, and
effort.
quite last.
That's a lovely way of putting it.
I did my best. What I wanted to do was see because the no and low category is a really upcoming category, and like 1 in 5 pub visits is a non-alcoholic one.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see, are these non-alcoholic gins, which doesn't make any sense because gin is alcoholic, are they any good?
Seedlip
and stuff. And it's like, what the two things I wanted to, well done.
Yeah.
The first thing I wanted to do was,
I did dry January as well, by the way. That's hence why I'm quite knowledgeable about these stuff now.
Exactly. Are they any good?
Yeah.
And actually, some of them are as much as, if not more expensive than gin. And I'm like,
makes no sense.
It makes no sense, really. So that was the main reason I wanted to do that. Also, we're expecting a baby this year. My wife is pregnant and she can't drink, so I wanted to kind of do it to support her as well. So, what I found with doing that, it wasn't just about gin. I was having non-alcoholic wines and beers and things. It really opened the door up to me actually thinking, I don't just have an interest in gin. I just have an interest in drink, not even just alcohol, just drink.
Yeah.
So I think that's, for me, that's where the brand will go.
That's really cool.
I'll keep gin as the kind of core because that was what started it all. But it's like open a door to like, oh my goodness.
But it's an example of actually when you start a business, it is kind of advisable to go small to begin with.
Yeah.
Start on like a small viable idea, a niched idea, and then you can expand. Like, you know, with Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, it was only for universities at the beginning, and then he expanded out into other markets. And so what you get from that is that you get that kind of like the big attraction and the big following at the beginning, because it's like a small idea with a close-knit community like you mentioned, and then you're able to then venture off into other areas, and you've already validated your business from that first idea. So
and the skills that you pick up transfer over to
absolutely
that. They're all transferable. So that's really exciting, and that's something that just will never go away. We'll always drink, right? So
yes, we will.
So yeah.
That's
good.
awesome.
Oh, that's a great story. I love the Ryan Reynolds story. we had the story with Emily, didn't we?
Yeah,
on the podcast.
That's what reminded me of the Meghan Markle thing.
But you know,
that's a lot better than mine.
No, but too much. Like, what's wicked is that like we have business owners on here. We chat to you guys about what you're doing and everything, and those stories pop up, and those are such like amazing stories that you wouldn't like say in a presentation or a pitch or anything
or
like
a
that.
Post. Like you're too modest to say in a post.
Yeah. I tell everyone I meet.
Have you not superimposed your face on Deadpool's body yet and like shouted about it?
Come on, mate, content.
I did put, I've used it subtly just to kind of go, is he still there? He's still in there.
He still follows what you do.
Let's talk about the side hustle thing, because the Gin Lord, you just said, is your side hustle. What do you do? What's your full-time job?
Yeah, so I'm a bank manager.
Okay, cool.
Which is
a huge.
So it's more sort of a people manager, I guess, and like a kind of a people coach, like line managing people. Again, was something I never thought I would do. But actually, that is probably one of the most rewarding. It's one of the hardest things to do, because I line manage a team of 8-10 people, but you kind of, I've got a manager. That manager only manages a space, so it kind of gets less and less. Where I've got the people on the ground floor, and you have all their problems, and you have all their development needs and things. So it's really quite tough. It's so rewarding. Yeah, if you want it to be. Yeah. So, and I guess, again, some of the skills that I've picked up in the day job are transferable to this and vice versa, and it all does link. It definitely all links.
Well, I mean, a lot of the business owners we've had on here have gone, what are the main challenges? Managing people is one of the main challenges, and I think if you can take that into then another job that you do at home, that's only going to make you more valuable. Yeah. And even if that's an employer or an employee. Yeah. Which is really cool. What kind of, let's talk about your day, because are you expecting your first baby?
Yes.
Right. So cool. Good for you. Good luck. So that's in June time.
Yeah.
How are your days now, and how do you see it kind of going? Because I'm guessing you not bank-wise, 9 to 5, something like that, day job. And then you go home and work on Gin Lord all the time?
Yeah, not every night, because I can't drink every night, because that would be bad.
Terrible.
But sometimes, again, that's a difficult part of it, is that you find, this is what I found, another reason I wanted to do Dry January is because in December, so every December for the last few years, I've done this. It's really cool. It's called Gin Vent. So it's a gin advent calendar. There's loads of them available. Yeah. This is like the best one from team at Gin Foundry, who've again become really good friends. These are people I really looked up to, and now they're really good friends. And we do that it's every day. And I was just seemed to be getting so much. There were so many new releases and Christmas releases and things. And I was like, I just am drinking too much.
Just all the time.
Yeah, and you kind of, but you do, it's in my head, it's work.
Yeah, because people rely on you to drink to then put out the content about that drink.
Yeah, so I was like...
you have to drink.
I know, but I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's why I've always said before, I was like, I can't do Dry January because then I can't do
I can't do my job.
My job. But that's ridiculous because, while I still posted things, you just have to plan ahead. With the impending baby, I'm already thinking like content wise, I'll still keep it going, but I won't be doing stuff as kind of quick, and I can prepare for it. But I need to get the balance right because my focus needs to be on my family as opposed to this. Sure. But it kind of still needs to sit there in the background and tick over.
No, good for and I like hearing stories like that because people always go, I can't have a side hustle. I work 9 to 5. It's like
you can,
You've proved how you can grow a brand and a business while still working a full-time job and supporting your family. So that's
and
really
it doesn't.
Cool.
I never let the two impact each other. So I never let the day job impact this, and I never let this impact the day job. In my eyes, my day job's my job, and that pays my mortgage. The side hustle is a business. But it's my real passion. And it, as I said before, it never really feels like work. Sometimes it does with the distillery stuff. There's a huge amount of paperwork and stuff with HMRC and tax and things, and that drives me up the wall because I hate that sort of stuff at the best of times. And I'm sure many business owners will relate to that. Anything, the systems and things you have to use are just so difficult. And they just make life so difficult for you. But everything outweighs that.
What would you say to somebody who's listening to this now? Because I imagine there will be quite a few people who work in a job but do really want to kind of scratch the itch with a passion of theirs and to kind of make it into a brand. But A, what do you think their objections are going to be at the beginning? What kind of things did you find actually this might be a bit challenging for me? And B, how did you overcome those?
Yeah, time is always the biggest challenge, I think, and probably as you, especially with social media, there's a lot of rubbish that you have to wade through. It wasn't so much when I started, but now there's a lot of rubbish. And
more ads, more saturation,
and things like that. And it's difficult to, I remember the shift on Instagram where it used to be time, so it was most recent, and then you go through. Whereas now it's all over the place. So, but when it was, and I remember that change and thinking, I can't do this. This is just throwing it all out. My understanding of it all. I thought I had a good, and now I just have to accept that beast, that algorithm and things is, I don't understand it. So I just kind of do what I can. And I think that could be, if there's someone thinking I want to do this, and use social media platforms and things, I think some things you just have to accept that you won't be able to fully understand that.
We went to a talk the other day and there were a few questions asked. What about what will the algorithm favour if I do this? Should I be doing that because of the algorithm? I think our biggest advice and what we tell people all the time is just like do what you want to do, put out content that you want to put out, focus on actually giving value. And then the algorithm will sort itself out. And insights are important, and it's important to kind of look at where your engagement and your reach is in order to curate better content. But I can't stand it when people just won't post anything because they think, that's not going to work. And actually, you just got to do it. Just got to keep doing it.
I think authenticity, we always say, don't we, with all our content, and especially as it's a brand, it's a personal brand. Like the authenticity of content, you getting in front of a camera and talking about something you love so much, that's going to over-index on social media anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep on doing that stuff.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think there's a lot of barriers that you'll face. But if it's something that if you're passionate about and you want to do it, you will find time and you will find a way. You just will.
Yeah.
Like, even if it means that one day a week you sit and do your content or something, or you do that, then that's fine. One day a week is better than not doing it at all.
Yeah, people will use that as an excuse not to post,
Yeah.
and that's the complete wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
because you're never going to grow a business or brand doing that. So, no, well done. That's cool, really cool. Where can people find you, Rory? Where can people find you online?
Online, the Instagram's the main one, so at the Gin Lord, Twitter at the Gin Lord UK, because someone already had that. That's annoying. I'm on Facebook because I don't use it personally. I find Facebook a really difficult one to use, but I'm on there. And then Faiers Distillery or theginlord.com or fairsdistillery.co.uk.
Amazing,
really cool,
wicked. And last question is, what is your favourite thing about running a business? In attachment to what you already do as well.
I think it is the fact that it's something I love. And it's not like I've just started up making chairs because I think that I could make money from that. This is genuinely something that interests me. I learn every day. I learn something every day, which excites me as well. And you get to meet brilliant people and you get to drink along the way. So that's brilliant.
Honestly, that can only be a positive.
I think it is, like, for our listeners as well. I think Rory is a big inspiration in the sense of, like, if you do have a passion and you do enjoy something in your life and you want to be able to, like I said, have a bit of an outlet for it, you can. And, with these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, they allow us to do that, and they allow us to build a brand. Even if you can't think of any kind of monetary value, just the pleasure it gives you in just sharing content and sharing your ideas and educating people around gin, I imagine is enough.
Absolutely.
So
I also think, just on that, Jake, that people are so worried to jump into their passion and follow what they want to do because they don't want to make the huge step of leaving a job and then going on to that and saying, well, I haven't got enough cash flow. What am I going to do with my family? Well, actually, you don't need to leave your job. You just need to make the most out of 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And the most out of 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you truly want it and you're truly passionate about it, you're going to make that leap.
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, that has no risk at all.
Yeah, definitely. No. And you don't need a load of money to start something like that. You just need your phone. Like you got your guys, what you say with some of the content and stuff that you guys put out is you just need your phone.
Phone and Wi-Fi. That. Come on, guys. Phone and Wi-Fi.
That honestly is all you need. And that's how I started out. And everything from there has purely been funded by the stuff that I have been able to monetize in terms of my time and the tastings and things like that. It does take a bit longer. It does. But if you're patient, it will all work out.
That's brilliant. Rory, thank you ever so much for coming on the podcast. Honestly, guys, if you're interested in gin or just drinks in general, like we've mentioned, please head over to the Gin Lord and see everything that he's doing, because it is really, really cool. And we're going to enjoy this tonight. We'll make sure we put some pictures out as well of this, because this is cool. Looking forward to this. That, by the way, again, I always have to kind of reinstate for the listeners, I'm holding up the gin. I'm like, if you're imagining something else. But no, thanks ever so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share the podcast with your friends, and get the word out. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.